noches. Good evening, everyone. Antes de empezar, bueno, primero que nada, Padre Tony, muchísimas gracias. Su eminencia, muchísimas gracias. A cada uno de ustedes, muchísimas gracias. Antes de empezar, quiero decirles que todo el bien que por la gracia de Dios he hecho en toda mi vida, todo ese bien no se compara con una sola misa celebrada por un sacerdote. Muchísimas felicidades a todos los sacerdotes que están aquí. Gracias por darnos el cuerpo de Cristo todos los días, en las misas que celebran todos los días. Gracias porque sin la Sagrada Eucaristía no podríamos seguir adelante en esta lucha que no termina hasta que uno muere. Okay, now I'm going to talk in English. So, I just wanted to say that all the good that I have done in my life, together, by the grace of God, is nothing compared to one Mass celebrated by a priest. So thank you for every priest here for giving us the body of Christ every day in Mass. And for those who doesn't know me, I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from. I'm from a very small town, northern Mexico. I was in the state of Tamaulipas. I was born in Ciudad Mante, Tamaulipas. Arriba Tamaulipas. ¿Hay tamaulipenos aquí? Buenas noches, paisanos. I was born in Mante and I was raised in Jicotencal, Tamaulipas. I have three younger sisters who are like my three angels, Alejandra, Alicia, and Daniela. I'm the oldest one in the family. And my father, Jose, he wanted me to be a lawyer. And because I love him and I wanted to please him, I went to law school. But after the second year, I realized that I was not passionate about being a lawyer. So I quit college and I moved to Mexico City to pursue my dream. I wanted to be an actor, I wanted to be a singer. So I started singing in a boy band for 3.5 years called Keynote. It was 3 singers, pop music. We were traveling all over Latin America to promote our music. And after 3.5 years singing with this boy band, I quit and then I started doing soap operas in Mexico, telenovelas. In Mexico at that time, if you want to make a living as an actor, you didn't have so many options. You either do soap operas or soap operas. And that's what I did for almost 4 years. After the last one, I moved to Miami, the capital of Latin America. I went back to music. I recorded my first solo album in Spanish, and one day I was flying from Miami to Los Angeles to promote my music with my manager, and next to him was this person who happens to be a casting director. Make a long story short, he invited me to do an audition for a film he was working. I told him that I didn't speak English very well. At that time, I only knew, how to count 1 to 10, gallina, chicken, my car is red, where is the bathroom, things like that. And I was living in Miami, everybody speaks Spanish there, so I was very comfortable. And the only reason why I didn't speak English is because when I was 14 years old, my parents sent me to a little town in Oklahoma, to study, to learn English as an exchange student program. I was 14. The problem is, like, after the first month I got there, I was playing Vencidas arm wrestle with someone stronger than me, and the table was very wet. And he broke my arm. And so they sent me back because I didn't have insurance, and I didn't learn anything except for count 1 to 10, where is the bathroom, things like that. And so I told him, this casting director, my situation with the language, and he said, "Don't worry, because 90% of the film you are going to be sleeping. So I think you can do that." So I did the audition, I got the part. He was right, 90% of the film I was sleeping, and the few phrases that I spoke, it was very easy to learn. And thank God for that opportunity, because the English teacher that I hired to teach me and to help me with, not only with the audition, but with the movie, not only taught me English, but changed my life. Because at that time I was very, very, very confused. I thought I had everything in my life in one hand, but on the other hand, I had nothing. I was very empty. Something was missing in my life and I didn't know what it was. And I was very confused because after working very hard for 10 years to achieve all the things that our society tells us, that if you have fame, success, pleasure, recognition, and many other things, all these shiny toys, you will be very happy. And after I started achieving all these shiny toys and all this fame and success, I was not happy. And I was confused because I thought maybe I need more fame, more success. Because I didn't have the, the typical story where somebody, touched rock bottom, where, a tragedy happened, or, something really, bad news happens to you, and then God speaks, to you when you're on the floor bleeding. No, my life was perfect. I had 20 agents, 20 managers, publicists, lawyers, all working for me. I was a very healthy person. So it seems like everything was perfect from the outside. From the inside, I was bleeding, but I didn't know why. And this young lady from Boston, actually, she's my English teacher is from Boston, but she was living in LA at the time, so thank you, Boston. She used the Socratic method, which means she was asking questions. She was teaching me English. She was giving me all this exercise to, make my accent better. But at the same time, she was asking questions like, Eduardo, what is the purpose of your life? What kind of a legacy you want to leave? What kind of a legacy you want to leave behind? How are you using your talents? Who is God in your life? When you wake up in the morning, what motivates you to wake up? Who do you die for? Who do you live for? And many questions like this. And then one day she told me, it's very sad, Eduardo, that many people in this country, they think that your Latino community is a threat to the democracy of this country because they think that you guys are what they see in film or television. What do you mean? Yes, the negative stereotype. The negative stereotype that we always see in film or television. Let me ask you a question. Are you part of the problem or part of the solution? And when I look back to see what kind of projects I was involved, I realized that I was part of the problem. I forgot that whatever project you were involved, whether you like it or not, you affect how people think, how they live, how they behave. The average percentage in America that parents, the time that parents spend with children every day having meaningful conversations, the average, it's 3 to 6 minutes a day, the time that they spend with their children, having meaningful conversations. But in front of the media, they spend more than 10 hours a day. So we know who is educating the youth. It's not schools, neither parents, it's the media. Now, there's nothing wrong with the media. The media is a very powerful tool that if you use it to make a difference, you can change the world. But if you use it with the wrong intentions, you can end up poisoning the minds of the youth. So I was poisoning the minds of the youth without not knowing. I did a soap opera a long time ago called Soñadoras, and I was in Miami one day, and this person from Venezuela approached me, and he told me, "Are you the guy from Soñadoras?" I said, "Yes." "Oh man, I used to watch you every day, you're an amazing actor." And my ego was like, "Oh, thank you very much, thank you." And then at the end he said, "I started doing drugs because of your role." I was like, "What? You didn't see the end when he..." "No, well, the end was too late." Of course, the end, the last week after 1 year, the last week, of course, he goes to rehab, we show the consequences and everything, and the guy changed, but the first 8, 9 months, he's doing drugs, driving a beautiful car, going to clubs, dating beautiful girls, so it looks like a commercial. Of course, that was not the intention of the show, but sometimes we forget that whatever we do, sooner or later, whether we like it or not, is going to affect the minds of the youth, who somehow have this inclination to imitate what they see in film or television. Plato said, "If I have to choose between art and politics to govern a nation," he said, "I would choose art, because art has the power to touch people's hearts and change their minds. Therefore, how they behave, how they speak, etc." So I told my English teacher, I am part of the problem. And right there, I made a promise to God that I will never use my talents again to do anything that will offend my faith, my family, or my Latino culture. And after I made the promise, thank you. After I made the promise, I ended up not working for 4 years. So be careful what you promise. And not because it was not jobs out there for me, but because everything that I got offered to do was exactly about the things that I promised I would never do. So I had to turn down every single project. My managers, my agents, they thought I went crazy. Eduardo, this will change your career. I said, I can't. I wish I can, but I can't do this anymore. At the same time, my English teacher, she looked at me one day and he said, Eduardo, I grew up in a culture where I thought the real man is a Don Juan, Latin lover, Casanova, womanizer. The more women, the more manly you are. And I bought that lie. And she knew that was my lifestyle. And she was very smart. She said, would you like to marry one day and have a family? One day in the future? I said, yes, for sure, I would love to. Would you like to have a daughter one day? And I said, I would love to. What kind of a man you would like your daughter to meet so she can have a family in the future? Can you describe that man to me? And of course, I described this holy saint for my future daughter, Someone that will love her, faithful to her, someone that will be loyal to her, treat her like a queen, put her in a pedestal like a diamond, die for her, help her, love her. And after I described this perfect man, she looked at me and she said, are you that man? What do you mean? The man that you just described, are you that man or not? And I say, no. I mean, few things here, no. The whole package, yes or no? No. Then why do you want a man like that for your future daughter when you're not that man for the daughter of somebody else? And that's when I realized that I was using my talents in a very selfish way. I was using women as objects. I was lying. I was lost. I learned and I realized that the real man is not the one that uses women as objects, but the ones who respect the dignity of a woman. The man who treats every woman exactly the same way how he would like his mother, his sisters, or his daughters to be treated. Golden rule. Treat everyone exactly the same way how you like to be treated. Do to others exactly what you want them to do to you. So after I made that promise, I made many promises, but in my work, I ended up not working for 4 years, so I was tired of waiting for the role that would portray a man as a real man. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave this place. I'm going to the jungle in Brazil to work as a missionary. I'm going to give 2 years of my life to Christ in the jungle, helping the poor. And that's what I thought I was going to do, because I read a couple of books, and then I read, I forgot exactly, in internet, it was like an invitation for this program to give 2 years of your life to Christ, serving the poor, to discern what He wants from you. So I thought, this is perfect. I'm going to go there to clean all the dust that I had in my soul for all my past. 2 years to hear the voice of God, just to see what He wants from me. Because I believe that we were all created for a very particular, beautiful mission that nobody else can do it but you. And it's up to us to discover that mission that we were created, and be faithful to that mission, using our talents to serve God and to serve others, or to ignore that mission that we were created for and to work another mission based on selfishness. So I went to see a priest. I said, Father Juan, give me your blessing I'm going to the jungle in Brazil, 2 years. And I thought he was going to be very happy, and he's going to give me his blessing. And he said, where are you going? I'm going to the jungle in Brazil. I said, Eduardo, Hollywood is a bigger jungle. I said, no, I'm serious. I'm serious too. No, but there's a lot of poor people there. There's more poverty here. And I'm not talking about material poverty. I'm talking about internal poverty. But Father, I'm tired. As an actor, I don't have the power to control the message of the movie. I'm just an actor, So I'm going to be waiting for the rest of my life. Maybe my career is finished, and I'm okay with that. So I realized that I wasn't born to be an actor. I realized that I wasn't born to be a lawyer, or a producer, or a teacher. Those things are only means that if you use them well, you can make this world a better place. But I was not born for that. I was born to know and to love and to serve Jesus Christ. We're all called to be saints. That's the most important thing. Mother Teresa said, we are not called to be successful, we are called to be faithful to God. That is our success. Now, if by being faithful to God, success comes, it's a blessing. Thanks be to God. Let's use that success to make a difference. But if it doesn't come, thanks be to God. We can never compromise our faith, our values, in order to obtain what the word thanks success is, because that success doesn't come from God. That's when I learned what freedom is. I thought before, freedom is to do whatever you want. Freedom is to do the right thing, to do what you ought to do. I realize sometimes that my own personal dreams, they can become my worst enemies if those dreams are not in line with God's will. So I started learning how to dream differently. Instead of I want this, I want that, I'm attached to this, you have to detach from everything so you can be attached only to do the will of God. I started going to Mass every day after I read a book called Rome Sweet Home. If you read it, you know what I mean. If you haven't read that book, please read that book. It's powerful. Rome Sweet Home. Roma Dulce Hogar. After I read the book, I started going to Mass every day. I started praying a rosary every day. I used to wear the rosary in my neck, more like a, como un look, como un adorno. My mother and I were a team. So mother, you pray and I wear, you pray the rosary and I wear the rosary. So we're a team. Now, talking about my mother, I'm going to tell you something very important because I see many mothers here. Yes, my English teacher changed my life, but before that, my mother told my dad one day, I'm afraid that I'm going to receive a call in the middle of the night with a horrible news. Because there's nothing good that is going to come out of this environment where our son is swimming. He's swimming with pigs, and he's another pig, and he thinks he's swimming with dolphins in the Caribbean. But no, he's swimming in the mud. And he doesn't listen to us anymore. He's full of pride and vanity and ego, and my words doesn't touch his heart anymore. But she told my dad, but if my words doesn't touch his heart anymore, my prayers will touch his heart one day. And I believe that my English teacher was the answers of my mother's prayers. And I believe and I'm convinced that there is nothing more powerful than the prayers of a mother for their children. So if any of you have someone who is dad or a boy, you don't have to raise your hand, or maybe all your children are holy saints, but if that's not the case, don't give up. Never, never give up in your children. So, going back to the conversation with the priest, Father, give me your blessings, and now you stay here, and if you don't have the power to control the message, then become a producer, so you can have the power to control the message. Well, Father, I have never produced anything in my life. Well, learn. And when it happens, you know who did it, so you don't take merit. Stay here, open your own production company, and make movies to glorify God, so you can glorify God. And I listened to him, and we started this production company called Metanoia Films. And the mission of this company is to produce films that will have the potential not only to entertain, but hopefully to make a difference in people's lives. And our hope as filmmakers is that when people see our films, they will leave the theater not only entertained, but hopefully wanting to love more, judge less, complain less, forgive more. Hopefully they will live inspired to become the best version of themselves, the persons that God created them to be. Art has the power to change people's lives forever, for good or for worse. I want to make this world a better place through art. So that's why we opened this company called Metanoia Films. Metanoia is a Greek word that means conversion, turning to God, light in darkness. Our first fruit of this mission is called Bella. I don't know if you have seen Bella here, but this little movie has changed the life of so many people, including my own life. When I was preparing for my role, I remember, like, it was yesterday, I went to an abortion clinic. For those who haven't seen the movie, it's a woman who is pregnant, and she thinks abortion is her only exit. And my character, Jose, convinced her not to have an abortion, and he offers her to adopt her baby. So anyway, to prepare for my role, I went to this abortion clinic 2 weeks before we start shooting because we couldn't find the lead actress at that time. So I thought, I'm gonna go and prepare for my role, I'm gonna do my homework, I'm gonna stop the first lady, I'm gonna ask you questions, how do you feel? I'm doing this movie, I'm gonna write my notes, and so I can give my character, more reality. When I got there, I saw many, many young girls, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls pregnant, going inside to have abortions. And then this young lady from Puebla, Mexico, she recognized me from the soap operas that I did in Mexico, even though I did them long time ago. They repeat them sometimes for Univision, forever. One day, somebody stopped me and they told me, "Are you the guy from Soñadoras?" I said, "Yes, you look a lot younger on TV." Wow, I did that almost 20 years ago. Of course, I was a lot younger, but anyway, thank you for the compliment. But the fact that she recognized me, that helped me at least to talk to her for a few minutes. She said, can I have your autograph and a picture? And I was praying inside, Lord, please help me to use my fame to save this baby. I used to use my fame to do the wrong thing. Please let me repair any damage from the past to save this baby. And I asked her, can I talk to you for 5 minutes? And we talked for an hour. About life, faith, her dreams. She lost her appointment because of me, thanks be to God. She was 4 months pregnant and she was going to have an abortion. And she explained to me all the reasons why she wanted to have the abortion. And I only told her, you're not alone. We met for a reason. I'm here to help you. And she lost her appointment, so I called her the next day. You're not alone, I'm here to help you, we met for a reason. Finally, we found the actress. I moved to New York, we finished the movie, came back, and her husband called me months later, screaming, Eduardo, Eduardo! And I thought something bad happened, now they're gonna blame me. And my baby was born yesterday. And you have to come to the hospital because we're gonna call him Eduardo. And when I was carrying little Eduardito in the hospital, I started singing songs to him. I never thought in a million years that by me going there to do my homework as an actor, I was going to be used by the grace of God as an instrument to save the life of Eduardito. It changed my life. And after that, I remember looking up. I said, please, Lord, use me as an instrument. I want to work. I want to join this army of people around the world who are not afraid to defend life from conception unto natural death. I want to be one soldier along with them in this fight. And literally a month later, I was in Miami showing the movie to a group of friends, and one of them calls me from Miami. I was back in LA, and he said, Eduardo, one of my best friends, which you know him, I know that you haven't seen him for years, but his girlfriend, she's pregnant, and tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, they scheduled to have an abortion. He doesn't listen to anybody. She wants to have the baby, but he doesn't. And I thought about your role in the movie. Can you please call him? It was 1 o'clock in the morning, a few hours before the appointment. So I called him. I said, hermano, how are you? It's been a long time. I was very nervous. I don't know what to say. I know that you're going through a lot. So this person called me and he told me about your situation. And I was just praying inside, what should I say, what should I say, what should I say? And then I remember what Mother Teresa said one day. And I took her words and I said, if you don't want your baby, give it to me. I'm willing to adopt it. And there was silence. For like 10 seconds, he didn't say anything. And I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, I am a father now. He canceled the appointment. I went back to Miami, showed him and his girlfriend the movie, Bella. And a few months later, the baby was born, and they call her Bella. And here we go again. I'm carrying little Bella. I'm not the father. They changed their mind, but I'm the godfather. And it was just beautiful. And before the movie came out in theaters, my hope was one day, maybe 20 years after the movie comes out, can you imagine if somebody comes to your home and knock at your door and you open the door and it's like Juanito or Juanita, 16, 17 years old, say, hey, my name is Juan, and I just want to tell you my story. Years ago my mother was pregnant and she's scheduled to have an abortion, and she saw your movie and changed her mind. I'm here. I just want to thank you for that. But that was my dream. Like, can you imagine if one day we can see that? I never thought that before the movie came out, I was holding Eduardito and Bella. And that changed my life forever. And that's why I'm traveling around the world, talking to young people, inviting them to raise their voice and to be the voice of those who doesn't have a voice, to defend those who can defend themselves. If we're not going to do it, then who? After the success of Bella, the movie ended up coming out in 25 countries, won the Toronto Film Festival, and many other awards. But the best of this movie is not the awards, it's not in how many countries the movie had success. It's the emails and the phone calls and the social media messages. Till today, more than 4,000 babies have been saved by the grace of God through this movie. Thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. Many people ask me, Eduardo, can you be in the world? Can you be, as a lawyer or as a politician or, as an actor? Can you have success and bring your faith to the arena? Is that possible? And as I said before, well, the first thing you need to define is what success is. Because as I said before, we're not called to be successful, we're called to be faithful to God. That is our success. That's the first thing you need to understand, otherwise you're always going to be in conflict. Seek first the kingdom of God and the rest will come in place. So our priority should be every day, I want to be faithful to God today. And tomorrow you do the same thing. And the closer you are to Him, then He will reveal the mission that you were created for. And He will give you the graces and everything that you need so you can fulfill that mission. How are we going to do that? Well, through a sacramental life of prayer, meditation, contemplation, serving others. When you do all that and that's your priority, of course you're going to hear better voice. And you're going to be more equipped and stronger. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot of challenges. I remember one day when I decided not to work in anything that would offend my faith or my family or my Latino culture. It was a lot of temptations. It was not easy. Still not easy. And this doesn't end until we die. I remember I received a phone call and I lost everything. Remember when I said, I thought I had everything in one hand, but in the other hand I have nothing. 4 years later, in one hand, I lost everything. But on the other hand, I found everything that really matters in life. I found God. And when I say everything, I I didn't even have money to pay my rent. I was completely, and my parents, they didn't know. I didn't want to worry them. So I wanted to, you know, I wanted to walk along with God only. And I remember in the middle of, I don't know, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, thinking, well, how am I going to pay my rent next month? And it's not like I was in my home waiting for, you know, for manna. No, I was trying really hard. I was working. I was meeting people. I was trying to open my production company, and then I received a phone call from a producer from Miami, and he's telling me, Eduardo, I know that you don't want to do certain things, but listen, I have this project that is going to change your life. It's going to pay for everything. It's going to take it to the next level. Then after that, you can do whatever you want. Now, it's very clean. You have to compromise few things here and there. You may not like it, but come on, man, don't be fanatic. And somehow he started convincing me. He convinced me in my mind. And then I hang up. Before I hang up, I said, I'm going to call my lawyer so he can call you. And is there any way we can change those little things? No, it's impossible. But, you know, it's not a big deal. It's just little things here and there. I hang up, and then I discover the most important thing. In times of adversity, in times of temptations, tribulations, just get on your knees. I remember I got on my knees and said, Lord, please, once again, I'm about to offend you. I think I already did because I accept that deal in my mind. I'm very weak. Please give me the strength to say no to this project. And it was not even it was literally 1 minute prayer. I don't know what happened. I stand up. I didn't hear any voice. I didn't hear nothing. I was just stand up. I called the producer back again. I said, hey, listen, thank you so much for the opportunity, but I won't be able to make it. Let me call you back later. Bye-bye. And I hung up before he convinced me. Again, you know, Aristotle said, know thyself. So I was very weak. I didn't want to play that I'm so strong. So I hung up, and I felt the richest man in the world that day. The richest man in the world in a time when I had nothing. Nothing. Even I lost my friends at that time. I mean, who I thought were my friends, because friendship is like an elevator. Either your friends bring you up or they bring you down. Tell me who you hang out, I'll tell you who you are. You become what you read, what you eat, who you hang out with, more or less. And after that experience of freedom, see, the eagle cannot fly if it's attached with a little cord to a stone. You need to cut that cord so the eagle can fly. We're like the eagles. We cannot fly, we cannot be free if we are attached to so many things. We have to let them go so we can be attached, as I said before, to do God's will only. That's what's going to give us true freedom. So, moving forward, after Bella, second movie came out, my second production, called Little Boy. I don't know if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's a very powerful movie about the corporal works of mercy. Now we're finishing Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom is a very important movie. It's a true story about ex-Navy SEALs, ex-FBI agents, ex-CIA agents that came together and they travel around the world undercover, rescuing children that are kidnapped for sexual exploitation and organs traffic. There's more than 7 million children around the world that are kidnapped for sexual exploitation. Around the world, every year, boys and girls. I'm not talking about teenagers, talking about children, 3 to 10, 12 years old. And our goal with this movie is to raise awareness, to awake people, awakening. And hopefully this movie will help in the liberation of hundreds of thousands of children around the world that are kidnapped for sexual exploitations. It's called Sound of Freedom. It will come out maybe the first trimester of next year. When you hear that movie, please go and support this movie. God's children are not for sale. When we were filming this movie in Cartagena, Colombia, it was a miracle happened. We had 20 ex-Navy SEALs working with us while we were shooting this movie. And 2 weeks after we were filming, I'm reading the newspaper, and I'm reading, the local government, police, rescue 200 children from traffickers who had these kids for sexual exploitation, and they arrest like many traffickers. And I'm like, wow, like in the movie. So I told Tim Ballard and the guys who were with us, the ex-Navy SEALs, look like in the movie, and they start smiling. I said, Eduardo, we did that. But we gave all the credit to the government so they don't hurt us because we're undercover. We're supposed to be helping you guys here in this movie. So that movie, once again, we want to produce this movie and hopefully later save children. While we were shooting this movie, 200 Colombian kids were released, were free because of these heroes. And so pray for Sound of Freedom, and this is the last story, and then I'm gonna sit down because I think I spoke more than what I had to speak. But anyway, I think this is important because I see many women here. These 3 movies that I should share with you changed my life in a very particular and unique way. Little Boy, for those who have seen the movie, it's about the corporal works of mercy. One of those corporal works of mercy is visit those who are in prison. So a friend of mine one day calls me and he tells me, Eduardo, have you ever visited prison? I say, yes. Women prison, yes. Women that are in death row. I said, no. What are you doing on St. Valentine's Day, February 14th? He said, I don't have a girlfriend, maybe I'm gonna send flowers to my mother. Okay, besides that, will you wanna come with me to visit 9 women on death row in Texas? Sure. So I went there thinking that was going to be something simple and easy. When I got there, it was very, very hard. When I saw those 9 women there in prison, they told me, you need to talk to the last one over there. And they told me their story, and she was involved in a crime. I don't want to give you details, but anyway, so when I got there, I told her the truth. I said, hey, I was invited to come here and to talk to you, but the truth is like I'm very nervous and I don't know what to say. So she started like asking questions, so the whole thing switched. She started interviewing me, and that kind of broke the ice. And after 20 minutes of the conversation, I knew why I was there. And I told her, listen, I think I know why I'm here. This woman, she was wounded by many men. Since she was 9 years old, she was forced to be to prostitute herself. Her own mother started prostituting her. And many men took advantage of her. So anyway, so I'm in front of her and I say, I know why I'm here. I grew up in a Latino culture. I was this bad guy. I used women as an object. I cheated on all my girlfriends. I was a liar. I was this and that. But then I met this woman, my English teacher, and I shared with her the story that I should share with you. And she asked me, would you like to marry one day? Daughter, describe the man, are you that man? The whole thing I shared with her. And I said at the end, the only reason why I'm sharing this is because after my English teacher touched my heart with what I just shared with you, first I cried and I said, I got on my knees and I said to God, please forgive me for not being the man that you created me to be, and help me to repair the damage that I did in the past in whatever time I have left. And Saint Faustina said, all the sins of the world together are nothing but a drop of water in the ocean of God's mercy. So because of that, my guilt was removed. But I'm sharing this with you because I'm sure you have been hurt by many men. And I'm sure you still have maybe many wounds in your heart that they had not been healed yet. And I got in my knees and I hold her hands and I said, I want to tell you something. And I said, in the name of all men, I want to apologize to you. And she started crying like I have never seen a woman cry in my life. My hands were wet of her tears. She repeated to me like 20 times, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And I'm sure that she didn't see me. She saw all the men who hurt her that never apologized to her. And I saw in her face the same thing. It was a beautiful moment of freedom, therapy. And the reason why I share this story with you is because I see many women tonight here, and I'm sure maybe one of you, maybe two of you, maybe more, you have been hurt by a man or more than one man. And if that's the case, if you still have wounds in your hearts that have not been healed yet, I want to tell you something. I want to apologize in the name of all men. In the name of all men, I want to apologize to you. And I invite you to close your eyes for a second. I want to ask the Holy Spirit to give us the graces of forgiveness, so we can forgive, so we can be free. Lord, please help us to forgive, so we can be free. Clean our hearts, purify our intentions and our minds. And I want to ask all the women that are here to please pray for all the men around the world, so we can be the men God created us to be. So we can treat every woman with respect and treat every woman the same way how we love our mothers to be treated, our daughters, our sisters. And I ask all this through the intercession of our Blessed Mother Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Our Lady of Guadalupe, pray for us. En nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Buenas noches. Dios los bendiga a todos. Gracias. Gracias a Dios. Muchísimas gracias. Yo me comprometo a pedir por cada uno de ustedes en todas mis oraciones de todos los días, para que Dios los ayude a convertirse en las personas que Él quiere que ustedes sean. I will pray for you every day for the rest of my life. I don't know all your names, but God knows. So in my daily intentions, that you become the persons that God wants you to be. And please pray for me so I can be faithful to God every day for the rest of my life. God bless you. I love you. And thank you for your generosity in helping nuestros seminaristas, nuestros futuros sacerdotes. They are the heart of everything. Without them, there's no body of Christ on earth. So pray for more priests, more holy priests, so we can have, well, first of all, we got 13 ordained, right, Hermanos? That's amazing. 13. Este aplauso es para los sacerdotes ordenados. This is for you, fathers. Happy Father's Day. And thank you again. God bless you. Dios los bendiga.